Hey there, guys. It's Kim Snyder. Hey, I just wanted to check in with you guys to share my experience regarding my ride along with the Cleveland Police. There was just way too much to actually put on Facebook. So I just thought I'd go live and share my experience with you, which was amazing. I just did two ride alongs in Cleveland, Ohio. And the first one was about 2 weeks ago, and I went with the sergeant on the third shift in Cleveland, and it was amazing. It was kind of a quiet night. Our first call was to a DOA, a dead on arrival, and I went with this sergeant to this home. A man had passed away in his home, and the care and compassion that came out of this sergeant to the family members was absolutely amazing. And we don't get to see that kind of stuff in the media. So I really just wanted to do a shout out to the sergeant that I rode along with and how amazing he was. I also got to pray for the grieving family members, which was really a real blessing for me to be able to do that. Our next call was to, there was a shootout around West 48th Street and Store Avenue in Cleveland. We went there after the shootout, and there was probably 30 plus bullets that were involved in this shootout. And what really amazed me was these officers just fearlessly get out of their cars and they walk to the scene, and they don't even know if there's still a live shooter out there, what's going on. It was absolutely amazing. To see these guys in action, and to make sure that the person that was in the car was okay. They were checking on the neighborhood. It was just really, really amazing. Another call we got that night was about a suicidal lady. Somebody called in about her, so nobody knew exactly where she was. But the sergeant that I was with, they knew where she lived, so they were going through the parking lot with a flashlight, and he was trying to find her to see if she was in her car. He went up and knocked on the building of her apartment. He actually ended up speaking to her. But he went above and beyond, and he was so caring and so compassionate about this lady that was in distress. And you don't hear about that kind of stuff in the media. So our job is to pull out the golden people and to make people shine. And these guys, he was just absolutely amazing that night. I did another one on Friday night, and it was again on third shift in Cleveland, and I went with two officers. I didn't know who they were. I knew it was two white officers. One was a female, one's a male. I saw her before because I had done fishing with cops and kids throughout the summer to build relationship between the police and the citizens. She was there, so that already told me something about her. She really cares about her community. So I was with them that night. I wanted to go with somebody different and, to go on a lot more calls. I wanted to see how they handle, the city. And so as soon as we get into the car at 10 o'clock, there's already, there was a heroin overdose that we went to. We hear about that stuff all the time in the media, on the TV. We hear about it all the time, but I've never actually seen somebody, OD on heroin. So we get to the scene. It took 4 milligrams. I think they go by milligrams, 4 milligrams of Narcan to save this guy. And what was amazing to me was there's EMS, there's the fire, there's the police, there's all these people around trying to save one man's life. And it didn't matter what his race was. It didn't matter what his faith was, his sexual orientation, nothing. These guys responded with such love and compassion. It just amazed me. I'd never seen really that stuff actually in action. You see it on the TV, but to be there and to witness it was absolutely amazing. And the love and the compassion with these police officers was just amazing, and the EMS and the fire as well. Our next call, I think, was we went to another call to an event. There was somebody there that was drunk and being disruptive, and it was at an establishment that had comedy going on. And so the place had asked him to leave because he was disrupting other people. He was drunk, belligerent. He got up, he went and threw up in the kitchen of this establishment, and they couldn't get him to leave. So the police are called. So we get the call. I go with them, and it's predominantly an African-American event. Okay. And so when we got there, the officers said to the management, go and get him and try and get him to come to the back of the building. And they did. And as soon as they did, they start talking to him and saying, you have to leave, sir. They want you to leave. He started calling them racist. Now, this was probably the most amazing thing that happened to me that night, because here we are, we're three white people walking into this establishment. They're police officers, and people just probably assumed I was too because I had on a bulletproof vest. I had on my Free Hugs t-shirt, but you couldn't see it because I had my bulletproof vest on. And right away he just said, you're racist. And they're like, they didn't even really address that comment. They just said, we're not kicking you out. The establishment is, because, you've been drunk and thrown up and this and that. So finally he left without incident. But I could tell, or I felt, my perception was, when we walked into this establishment, here come three white people, officers. And I'm not, but I think they assumed I was. They saw us walking in, and I just felt like they looked at us like we were the enemy. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I am not your enemy. Like, these people didn't know me and how much I give voice to racism, and I'm against it, and I stand up for the African American community. But just because I was with the police and had on a bulletproof vest and they thought I was, they assumed that we were all racist. And I was like, no way, so that just kind of shocked me. I didn't expect that. I don't even know what I expected, that whole night, but that kind of saddened my heart too, that his perception right away was that we were racist, and that had nothing to do with it. He was being kicked out because he was being, drunk and interrupting people and throwing up and stuff like that, but he didn't see that. So he leaves without incident, and then we go into another part of the city, and then we get another call from the same establishment. And there was a female there that was drunk and threw a drink on the waitress. And so they couldn't get her to leave either. So they call the police again, and we're the responding car. And when we get up, there's more people now out in the parking lot because the show had just ended. And so the way they looked at us, I just felt like, oh my gosh, So their perception, was that like we were the enemy. I felt I could have been way off on that. And so I'll put that out there, but I just felt like they felt like I was the enemy and the other officers were. And I didn't see that on the other officers either. So by the time we had gotten there, the show just emptied. And so the lady was already gone, so we didn't have to worry about that. But it was sad, that this is where we're at, that the police automatically, they think the police are racist because they're doing their job. These two people I drove with all night for a good 8 hours were professional, kind, compassionate, concerned, police officers. And I just want to bring acknowledgement to that because they don't get that. The media is always hammering them. And I just want to start a new narrative. We've got some excellent officers here in the Cleveland area. Also, after that, then we had a lot of calls that night. It was kind of a busy night. We went into an alarms going off in a business. And so they have to go into this building. They don't know what's in that building. And I just thought, oh my gosh, you guys are so fearless and brave and powerful. And they just, they serve. And it was absolutely amazing. Another thing we went to, I wrote down some things because it was such a busy night. We got a call for domestic violence. And so they go to the house, and the two most deadly things for police to go to are domestic violence calls and traffic stops. That's where, those are the worst ones for them. So we go to a domestic violence call in Cleveland, and the lady's really drunk. And it was just the love that came out of the female officer was just amazing. And she wanted to make sure that she was safe. And I was just touched by it all. I can't even really articulate what I was witnessing that night, but it's not what you hear in the media. That's not what you hear in the news. Like, she wanted to make sure that this lady was going to be okay. Then we did a traffic violation. There was another call about a missing girl. There were two girls here from the New York area. They were staying at an Airbnb. I think they were in the Tremont area, and they were out drinking. Got pretty drunk, got separated, and the one girl that got separated from her, they were sisters. She had her phone, but her phone was dead. And so she couldn't call her other sister. She didn't have the address of the B&B. So the one sister that made it to the Airbnb calls the police and says, hey, my sister's missing. We get the call, we go there, and then eventually the sister ends up calling the sister while we're there. And it was amazing because somebody let her borrow our charger at the bar she was still at. And so she goes, just send me the address. I'll get an Uber and come to the Airbnb. And these officers are like, no, we're going to go pick her up. And I just thought, wow, they went ahead of themselves. They went above and beyond. They went and picked up this girl. She's drunk in another city. And they were just like, no, we're going to take care of her. So we go pick her up. Then we take her back to the other sister. And it was just like, these guys are amazing. We went on some other calls that night. In every call, they responded with love, with compassion. They were fearless. What these guys do is amazing. And so I just want to give a shout out to the police in the city of Cleveland and everywhere else, as a matter of fact. These guys are not like the media says they are. I know bad things have happened, so, I get that. I'm not giving voice to that. I'm giving voice to the ones that are out there that are fearless, that are powerful. We don't want to live in a city without police. These guys are amazing. So this is just a shout out to all of you guys, especially in Cleveland. And the way I got involved in this is I took the Citizens Police Academy in Cleveland, Ohio throughout the summer. It's a free program, and it explains to you what the police do, because I wanted to understand their jobs better. I wanted so that I can, pray for them and get involved. And so part of that was you get a free ride along. Well, not a free, they're all free, but you get a ride along with the Cleveland Police at the end of the 6 weeks. And so that's how this all started. And I'll tell you what, I think everybody should do a ride along. You don't actually have to do the Citizens Police Academy to do a ride along. You can do a ride along. All you have to do is contact the police station, wherever you're at, whatever city you're in. If you want to do a ride along, contact the police. They'll tell you how to do it. You have to fill out a form. You have to have it notarized, and then they do run a background check on you, and then you get to ride with them, and then the commander also has to approve that. I think everybody should do a ride along, especially with what's going on in society right now. I think everybody that is a leader in a city, I really want to push for that too. I think that the city council, I think the mayor, I think anyone that has influence in the city like that, especially over the police, they need to take the Citizens Police Academy, and I think they need to do one, if not two, ride-alongs, especially on second and third shift when it's a little bit different. I just think that's really important, that we become aware of what's really going on out in the streets and stuff, especially when we have the city and the mayor are speaking, about the police and stuff like that. I just think it's really important that they, get involved in this kind of stuff. So I'm really going to push for that. I am going to be doing another ride along. I'm going to hopefully in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to take another ride along, and I'm going to report on that as well, because I just think it's so important that we just give a shout out and that we support our police. So I encourage you, go and take a Citizens Police Academy. Cleveland offers it twice a year. I know every city offers those, so get involved in that. Take a ride along. Go with a ride along so you can become informed and see what's really happening out there. And adopt a police precinct. We have 5 precincts in Cleveland. And I would encourage you to go in, if you're in the city of Cleveland, go in and introduce yourself. Tell them who you are, where you live, and ask them if you can pray for them. Take them treats. I take them donuts all the time. But now I try and take pizzas and other stuff like that. Go in and visit them on a regular basis. Pray for them. Lift them up in prayer. These guys are amazing. We don't want to live in a world without police officers. And the majority of them are phenomenal. There are a handful that have really given a bad image to police. We have in every profession. I'm in ministry. We have unfortunately pastors that have misrepresented the heart of God, and so, but the rest of them are good. 98% of them are good. 2% of them do the wrong thing. That happens all the time in every profession. Yeah, we have it with the police as well, but the majority of the police are phenomenal. Get to know them. Buy them a coffee. Go out and have coffee with them. Build a bridge with them. Start to get to know who they are. Let them know who you are. They need your support. We need them and they need us. So I just want to thank you for listening. And I'm going to share again when I do my next ride along and my perception. And, I'm just trying to build bridges between the community and the police in Cleveland. And the police in Cleveland are phenomenal. So I thank you for your time. Have a great day. Next time you see a police officer, thank him and give him a hug. Tell him the hug lady said, hey. Just go love on him. Thank you so much. Have a great day.